Hey guys, happy Friday. Today is August 1st, the start of the new month, and it's a beautiful day in Arkansas. It felt like fall. We got the rain came in. It was nice and cool this morning when I walked the dogs. Perfect day. I love these days, but unfortunately, in about a week it's going to heat up again. But it was a nice preview of the upcoming fall. Thank you so much for being here. I've been on a roll with these shows, and you guys make it possible. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as I said previously, if you want to help support these shows, because it's not a live stream, so I don't really get super chats, but you can still contribute by giving a super sticker or a power chat. And I said previously, if you had any questions, I would answer them on these shows. And I got a power chat. So I'm going to start the show with a power chat I got from Wonder Boy. $15, generous. Thank you. Hi, Rams. I've been looking for work. 5 years ago, I learned to code, but nobody hires. I wouldn't mind, but there are plenty of jobs out there, but they're all given to H-1B visas. Luckily, I've got my parents to help support me. Yeah, I feel sorry for the younger generation. They were lied to. Young men, especially, were told to go into STEM, study hard. We have a shortage of programming jobs. And this is why we have H-1B visas, because we don't have enough talent. So we have to get these people from India. And that was all a lie. So you have all these great American kids that they're not even looked at because all the corporations, they want to use H-1B visas. And a lot of the corporations are run by ethnic Indians now. And there's a lot of nepotism. It's outrageous. We need to stop the H-1B visas now, kick them all out of the country. They're great people, I'm sure. They can make India a powerhouse in India, but this needs to happen. And we'll discuss this because we did get some economic data that shows we don't need H-1B visas anymore. They need to be eliminated. All right, the top 5 news stories. And as a reminder, if you have a question you want to address on the show, just send in a power chat or a super sticker, and I will get to it. Today, the first story, I would say, was this horrific incident, just horrific incident. No, it wasn't the double murder that happened in Arkansas when a married couple got stabbed to death. No, that's not it. No. It wasn't the incident in Cincinnati where a black mob basically tried to lynch a woman. I can't even show that. It was so graphic. Her face was just pulverized. No. It was something more horrific. And here it is. This is the Attorney General of the United States. So the United States federal government, the lead law enforcement official, this is number one in her priority. Well, what is this? This is like a horrible mass murder, something real grisly. Oh, it's even worse. What happened is there was some anti-Semitism at Florida, a horrible attack. And the girl that was involved with this horrible attack, she was kicked out of school. And the Attorney General is responding personally saying, thank God we nipped this in the bud. And I was just curious. I'm like, well, what did she do exactly? Did she was she massacre a whole bunch of Jewish people, set them on fire? We actually have it here. And I don't think it's that graphic. I think I could show it on YouTube. So here it is right here. Horrific. An FSU student was attacked at the gym for wearing an IDF shirt. That's the Israeli army. A Jewish student at Florida State University was just working out when a woman saw his IDF shirt and snapped. She screamed in his face, called him a murderer, and got physically aggressive before being kicked out. All right, so we won't listen to the sound because she says the F word here. So here, well, no, I apologize for the F word. Here's the attack, a gory attack. This is what prompted the lead law enforcement official of the United States of America. This was her number one priority, despite all the murders we have, the horrific beatdown in Cincinnati. This is her number one priority that got her attention.
Israel, free Palestine, put it on fucking Barstool FSU. I really don't give a fuck. You're an ignorant fucking son of a bitch.
Oh! Oh, look at that. Oh, graphic. Oh, it's graphic. So she pushed this guy, and this is the #1 incident in America. This is the #1 incident that oh, we can't have this. Oh, this is just so crazy. All right. Now, I'm not defending this girl's actions. The girl is acted horribly, and I don't really care if she gets kicked out of the university. I think you should. Even if you're a girl and you don't like what someone's wearing, you don't have a right to push them. All right. But on the scale of things that are happening in the United States, for example, you have that young married couple that happen to want to go to a jazz festival in Cincinnati. A lynch mob descended upon them, almost killed them. I can't even show it, it's so graphic. And that lady's face was unrecognizable. Okay, you have that. And then you have way down here, someone being lightly shoved. This really is the #1 story. This is the #1 incident that the Attorney General needs to look at. This is how our priorities are so out of whack here, right? So now the girl, this should have even made the news. This should have been something that should have just been handled at the local university. And I don't know. When I went to school, if some girl pushed a guy like that, there'd be nothing. It'd be like, don't be such a pussy. I mean, what is it? It's like really nothing. But I'm not advocating what she did. Okay, maybe kick her out. But this should not be a national news story that the United States government gets involved with. This is how skewed we are, right, in what is happening at this point in this country. And it's sad. It really is sad. I wish that the United States government would put as much interest in white people that are being beat down on the streets as they do this one guy being yelled at and shoved. And I don't advocate him being shoved. I don't think that's proper behavior. She probably shouldn't be in school anyway. I get that. But really, it does not warrant the attention of the Attorney General. But that's the #1 news story. Just crazy stuff. All right, now we'll get to the #2 news story. And this kind of ties into the super chat, how well our economy's doing. There's a lot of mixed messages. We got, the report that GDP is growing better than expected. But I'm hearing a lot of people having troubles finding jobs. So there's a real disconnect that's happening. I suspect that the rich people are getting really rich and the poor are struggling more than ever. And we're starting to lose the middle class, which isn't good. But here was a issue, is they did the July jobs report reveals employers added 73,000 jobs, unemployment rises. And they went back and they redid their estimated job numbers. So it looks like not as many jobs were created under Trump as we previously thought. Okay, if that's the case, there's no reason to have H-1B visas or anything like that, because they're supposed to be used just when we have a shortage of workers. We do not have a shortage of workers. I don't think we ever did, but we definitely do not now. We need to stop that program immediately. I hope Trump does it. He's talked about it, but I'm kind of skeptical if anything will be done about it. He needs to, because Trump really had the big support of the young people, especially young men. And now he's losing that support. And it's because of H-1B visas. It's being totally fixated on Israel instead of America. It's being embroiled in this nonsense in Ukraine that Trump doesn't get out of. That's not what we voted for. So Trump needs to do a course correction and get back on MAGA, not MAGA, MAGA. We need not to make India great again or Israel great again. He needs to focus on America. But some of the good news about this, though, to be fair, the economy or the jobs aren't as good as it was before, but it looks like the native-born Americans have gained 383,000 jobs in July, while foreign-born workers have lost 1.5 million. This is really good news. This represents a lot of the illegals getting the heck out of here. So this is a positive thing. So I don't think this is all negative, but I still have questions about the economy, and we definitely do not need H-1B visas. They need to be canceled. I'm sure they're great people. They can go make India great. And all these chains that were bought by Indians using racial preferences, they were given loans that white men couldn't get. That needs to be rejected. That property needs to be taken from them. It was given to them in a fraudulent manner, and they need to be given to Americans that qualify for the loans. So that's what needs to happen. So that's the economic turmoil that was going on. All right, the number 3 story. And this is good news too. And I was a little bit shocked because breaking, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting shuts down after federal funding loss. What? Because they were always telling me like, oh, we get like 98% of our money from the public and donations. It's a myth. It's a canard that we rely on tax money. That's just a right-wing conspiracy theory. So we cut off their tax money and they fold like a tent. What's up, NPR or PBS? Why don't you guys do fundraisers, right? Why don't you go on YouTube, do super chats? Why should you be giving handouts? You know, everyone broadcasts now. Why do we need you anyway? Just start your YouTube channel and then you can beg for super chats. Do that. I mean, it doesn't make sense in this current environment that we need NPR and PBS. And I'm not against them existing if they can make a go of it. And if there's enough shit libs that are willing to give them money, then they can make a go of it. But obviously, there's not enough people that are interested in their product to support it. So why should I be forced to pay for them? So this is a good thing, good riddance. And yeah, they were left wing. They really were, no doubt about it. Not just a bias, they were heavily left wing. But that doesn't even bother me as much. Even if they were right wing, I don't see a reason to have public funded broadcasting anymore. You could have made an argument in the 1940s or 50s. Maybe you need that because they still bring up this canard. Oh, we got to have this publicly funded broadcasting to get into rural communities. I'm like, what does that mean? I live in a rural community. You don't get more rural than here. And I'm on the internet. People out here are on the internet. You know, this is 2025. It's no longer 1950. It was so stupid. Good riddance. And that has been shut down. So that was the number 3 story. PBS is shutting down. Yay. All right. The number 4 story is has to do with the Anglican Church. And here we go. Supposedly Christian. I don't know if they identify as Christian anymore, and I'm not joking about it. The world's first lesbian female archbishop appointed in UK, Cherry Vaughan, has been appointed Archbishop of Wales, becoming the first LGBTQI plus cleric appointed to lead any of Britain's Anglican churches. She is also the first lesbian to serve as an archbishop globally. All right. Well, obviously, this is against Scripture. Scripture is very clear against homosexuality. Scripture is also very clear against women. They can't be in the priesthood or in a pastor position. Well, whatever, you know, if you don't want to follow Scripture, whatever, I guess that's your right, but you're not a Christian church anymore. And I put out the question on X, and I'm serious. How do the Anglican Church, how do they differ from Satanism at this point? And I'm not saying that as a joke. Is there really any difference? I mean, they both support all sorts of sexual deviancy. They all support, I would like to know the difference, because the Satanists do whatever feels good. That seems to be the Anglican Church's view now. And I guess if that's the way they want to go, but instead of joining the Anglican Church, I mean, just join a gay bathhouse or join a satanic cult. Why? At this point, why not? So it's not like it's really that relevant, because the Anglican Church, no one belongs to it anymore. They've all, for obvious reasons, it's not edifying to get this. Why would you want to join a church? Because part of the reason as a church is to give you spiritual edification in a corrupt world. But if the church is as corrupt as the world, what's the point? I mean, just go to a bar or something. And but this is where we are. But the good news is it's going to fade away. All right. The last story, this had to do with Tucker Carlson had Candace Owens on his broadcast. And I'm not a big fan of Candace Owens, but we'll watch this clip. It's pretty interesting. They talk a little bit about Nick Fuentes.
That's obvious to me. I've been around a long time. I know it when I see it.
Yeah. And I will say, I don't understand it. We were very kind to him. Like, I truly, like, we almost said, like, we felt maybe he was a bit lonely. We should invite him back for dinner. I mean, that's how good of an experience I had. And
yeah, clearly it's
and then it was a 180. So it's either A, it's being driven from like a little boy insecurity, and he just was so worried that he like just went on the attack because he doesn't know how to have normal relations after being banned everywhere.
Well, I think there's that could
be one element.
The angry gay kid thing going on.
The angry gay kid thing going on. Tucker did. This has to do with, I don't know, I hate to throw out the accusation of being gay. I mean, that's thrown out all the time. But according to Jaden, it seemed like Jaden was his friend, but Nick took it in a different way. And then they kind of broke up their friendship. And Nick was like a jilted lover. And he was jealous of Jaden having a girlfriend. And whenever Nick, they bring up, hey, why don't you get married, date a girl? He's like, a girl? Oh, it's just, I'm just saying, it's just odd. Let's just put it that way. And so it's just funny how that's coming out.
Yeah. Or it's what you're saying, where he does this, he's lying to everybody and pretending that things are one way when it's not. I can say
why is he attacking Joe Kent, who, Joe Kent worked as a CIA contractor, paramilitary contractor. He's in the U.S. military for years fighting our neocon wars. And his wife was killed in.
All right. I'm not going to watch this whole clip. Check it out on Tucker. I'm not a big fan of Candace Owens either. I think she's a grifter. She started a doxing site when she first came out. I don't think she's that bright. I don't like her. Well, she's wacky conspiracy theories. We didn't go to the moon, man. And that the Macron's wife was born as a man. She just falls for everything like that. I don't know if she's a flat earther. I wouldn't doubt it. So I don't really hold her in much esteem. But at the same time, it's interesting to hear Tucker talk about this. And what Tucker is implying also is that basically Nick's a Fed informant. Something was happening. He caught a deal because Tucker's claiming Nick is used to discredit the right, to attack people on the right. And I don't know, because of the whole thing of January 6th, Nick was there, but he was one of the high profile individuals that for some reason didn't face prison time, even though he was investigated. And yes, a lot of people that didn't even go on the Capitol, but encouraged other people to go on the Capitol, they went to prison. Mysteriously, Nick didn't. So there's always that suspicion. Did he cut a deal? So it's an interesting broadcast because basically Tucker implies Nick is a homosexual Fed. I don't know. I'm just saying that's what Tucker is implying there. So you guys might want to check that out. All right. So the top 5 stories of the day. Number 1 was Pam Bondi got personally involved when a college girl pushed an Israeli supporter on campus. Number 2 was the jobs numbers did not look as good as previously thought, and Trump was upset about that. Number 3, PBS is shutting down because if they don't get the taxpayer welfare, they can't stay in business. Good riddance. Number 4, the Anglican Church, they decide to have a lesbian archbishop. That's no surprise whatsoever there. And number 5, Tucker Carlson implies Nick Fuentes is a homosexual Fed informant. So all pretty interesting stuff. Guys, thank you so much. And again, if you have a question, just send a power chat below. I have the link, or get a super sticker. I'd appreciate that. And after this, I'm going to do my video for my Substack supporters. I encourage you to join my Substack, get some additional content. And thank you guys so much. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.